This is a lecture from Open Tuition. For the free lecture notes that go with this podcast, please visit opentuition.com.
And now we look at how you can acquire software. And probably there are two routes to this. You can buy a package program, what's called an off-the-shelf program, or you can go down the bespoke route, which means having software specially designed and written just for you. Now, what are the advantages and disadvantages of these two routes? Well, if we look at the package route, first of all, it's going to be a lot cheaper. The software house develops the package, hopes to sell it to thousands of people, so it spreads the development costs very thinly, and it brings the unit cost down. If you're having bespoke software, specially written software created, it means that people are sitting down, programmers, charging time, and you don't get a lot of software written in a one-person year. You're talking about several people, maybe for several years, to get a large package written and tested. And that tends to be a very expensive route. Secondly, it's available now. Packages are literally available off the shelf. You buy it, you install it, you run it. Whereas if you're going down the bespoke route, it, as I said, may well take a year by the time you have designed it, written it, tested it, and so on. There is a very sizable delay if you go down that route. Reliability. By and large, most packages work pretty well. Certainly if you wait for maybe 3 months after the package has been released, most of the worst fatal flaws, if there are any, have been found and aren't out. You're now on kind of release 1.04 or something, and it's going to go pretty well. If you go down the bespoke route, although of course they will try to test it, but you are the first real user, and you are the person who's likely still to find some problems with the software, and then there's going to be disruption as you maybe get those corrected. Support. Software of all sorts needs support. It's sometimes stopped working, or maybe you can't discover how to do something. If you have a package solution, one person sitting in the software house can maybe provide support for hundreds of users. Again, the support per user is quite cheap. But if you have a unique bespoke system, it is very expensive for the software house to keep one employee there just to provide support for your system. And because you maybe don't make that many demands on that person, they're maybe not that expert. They haven't had much practice maybe in solving problems with the software. And updates. What happens if Windows brings out a new version and your software has to be changed to be compatible with that? Again, if you are the owner of a package program, the software house will update this and then will sell it fairly cheaply, the updates fairly cheaply, again across thousands of users. But if you are the only user of a bespoke package, the software house updates it to Windows 10 or something of that sort, you have to bear all of those update costs. But on the other side of the coin, there are a couple of disadvantages of going down the package route. For example, the package or no package you can find might do exactly as you want. And then you have to think, do I compromise my requirements and buy the package? Or do I hold out and say I will get something specially written that does precisely what I want? The second problem, a slightly more subtle problem, is that, let's say you are an optician providing glasses for people. And there's maybe only one well-known optician's package, and every optician, every competitor in the town has got exactly the same package. This will inevitably constrain the service they give and the type of service they give, because you're going to be governed to some extent by what the package can do for you. If you wanted to differentiate yourself and do something different and better, then maybe the first step is to get different and better software. Of course, it'll take upfront investment to do that, and you have to have some confidence that the better package offering more services will attract more customers or will enable you to charge a higher fee. Software should be assessed using the following criteria. First of all, its functionality. What does it do? Does it produce the right reports for you? Will it take the input you want to put in and produce the output you want out? That's the key criterion. Secondly, there is response times. If you have customers ringing up saying, is there something in inventory, then you don't want to be waiting a minute or two. You want to be able to give them more or less an instant answer. Again, it depends on the application. Sometimes the response times can be relatively long, but sometimes they have to be short. They have to be short enough to deal adequately with the decision or the information needs. Reliability. Again, some applications, it is critical really that the software is essentially always running. If it's not running, you're going to be losing sales and so on. So we need to look at its record of reliability and its downtime. And then we have compatibility. We probably have some existing hardware and software with which this piece of software has to interact. And we need to make sure that it interacts efficiently and well. Scalability. As the organization grows, perhaps it goes from just selling in the UK where the currency is sterling, then it goes into Europe, so we need a second currency, the euro. Maybe it starts exporting to America, so we need American dollars in there. So will it take on new branches? Will it allow us to have maybe 4 subsidiaries which will consolidate? Will it deal with several currencies? If you have to kind of throw out the old software and start again, then that's really quite expensive, quite inefficient. You want to see if the software system will grow with the company. How easy is it for customers and staff to use? You want a nice, slick menu system. You want maybe the kind of quick keys, so rather than going through a menu to get something to print. Usability. How easy is it for staff and customers to use? You want menus which are convenient. You maybe want quick keys, so like Control P for print if you need to do that a lot, rather than going through some series of menus. Does it describe itself well, what the menus actually are going to are going to produce? How easy is it to update for different requirements? A bit like scalability, but maybe if we're keeping an ordinary system for accounting, and suddenly we want to put in some sort of time recording for our staff, will it be easy enough to maybe adapt the software to those new requirements? And finally, of course, there's cost. Different functionalities, different speeds may all come with different costs, and we always have to bear that in mind. As well as looking at the software, we have to look at the software house. We have to make sure that the software house is, for example, financially stable. Remember, when you acquire a piece of software, you normally don't buy the software, you license it. You have no right to what's called you've no right to the original code in which the software was written. So if the company goes into liquidation, you can be left high and dry using a system that no one can maintain. So get their latest set of financial statements, try to get financial references. What about the size of the company? If we're a large international company and this is a small software supplier, will it be able to deal with our demands? Sometimes the reverse is found. If you're a very small company, you go to a huge, great software seller, will they spend enough time on you, the small company, or are you not worth their while? Will you not get enough individual attention? We want the expertise of the software house and their reputation to be assessed. It's nice to get software houses which specialize in your sort of a business, so they really know what you're talking about when you have conversations with them. Occasionally, location of the software house can be important. If you're going to require a lot of help, a lot of people coming down and showing you what to do and so on, you don't want to be flying them in from abroad all the time. You want maybe somebody who's fairly local and fairly quick to get. And finally, other clients. Other clients can work in a way both ways. The disadvantage of having the software house supplying competitors is that, again, all competitors are doing the same thing. You may worry about leakage of information between you and the competitors, but also having some other customers who are competitors gives you some confidence that if the competitors are operating well with this piece of software, you probably will as well, that it seems to be suitable